Bizarre Brain Comics.
Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. And this is where I like to take a look at some older comics. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Gary, your host. Yeah, this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and then examine the stories and the art. And this time, we're going to take a look at this book. This is The Unknown Soldier, number 265 from 1982, DC Comics. And before we start talking about that, I wanted to make a little recommendation for one of the other YouTube channels that I like, which is Horror Mike. That's Horror Mike. Talks about horror stuff, and he does a lot about the pre-code horror comics. So if you like that stuff, check his channel out. Horror Mike, M-I-K-E. And this issue of The Unknown Soldier, said 1982. It was written by Bob Haney, with art by Dick Ayers and inks by Gerry how do you pronounce this? Talaoc. I don't know how you pronounce it. T-A-L-A-O-C. Talaoc. Okay, and The Unknown Soldier was created by writer Robert Kanigher and artist Joe Kubert in Our Army at War, number 168 in 1966. And the Unknown Soldier is symbolic of all the nameless soldiers who have fought throughout the American wars. And this character, he works as a spy and is a master of disguise. Something happened to him, his facial features, were destroyed. That's why he's bandaged. It's horrifying looking, and that also allows him to create artificial faces for himself, so he can pass himself off as other people. Makes him good for a spy. And the Unknown Soldier feature, it ran in Star-Spangled War stories, starting in with number 151 in 1970 through 205 in 77. Then the title changed to The Unknown Soldier, running until issue number 268 in 82. That's just 3 issues after this one. So let's hope that they manage to finish the storyline beforehand. Now, as I've told you all before, if you've listened to me any length of time, you know I like war comics, and I am a veteran. I was in the military, and my brother is a veteran, and my dad was a veteran. Yeah, he was a veteran of World War II, and he's still around. Probably not for much longer, though. And I never read a whole lot of The Unknown Soldier. For some reason, it just didn't appeal to me as much. And for DC Comics, anyway, I preferred Sergeant Rock, which you see right over here, and a Haunted Tank, and the regular anthology stuff. And this book is also an anthology, even though it was changed to Unknown Soldier. because that's the lead feature. It also has the feature of The Losers and Enemy Ace. So in this one comic, there are 3 stories, or actually parts of 2 and 1 complete story. And Dick, as I said, in this lead feature, Dick Ayers is the penciler, and I've just mentioned him not too long ago, and as I've said several times before, I think Dick Ayers' work looks best in the westerns and the war books. His work just is not as pleasing or as functional, in my opinion, anyway, in the superhero titles. Although he did some reasonable work there. I just think his style works better for these kinds of stories. And of course, this cover here is drawn by Joe Kubert, who was doing a lot of covers, primarily for the war comics at this time. Of course, he also had his art school that bears his name, and he was still doing work there, as well as being editor. So, okay. Let's go take a look inside the pages. But before we do that, I want to show you these. This is an example of character cards, 5-inch by 8-inch cards, full color, black and white, whichever you prefer, of characters that you like. You can see here, there's Sergeant Rock, and there's a more stylized version of Superman, a humorous type Superman, and can do all kinds of characters from comic strips, science fiction, movies like Star Trek, Star Wars, things like that, characters out of legend, what have you. And they can make a very nice gift for a friend. Just contact me here at my email address, and we'll see what we can work up for you. Okay, and there we have this Joe Kubert cover. And if you like this stuff, please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment for me below. That helps me out, and I always appreciate reading the comments. Now into the story here. I'll go kind of briefly. Big splash page. Yeah, it says on the cover, it said, "One of you murdered your general, and I'm going to find out who." Well, who? We don't know. So this is obviously continued from a previous issue, and this general of this particular brigade, tank brigade in Libya in 1942, was murdered by somebody. He's going to find out who, and he wants everyone to say, whoever, if you don't fess up, everybody's going to get punished, because he's got the authority. He has authority to do this kind of stuff. He's given special authority just for his position, and nobody knows him. He's just known as the soldier. And wants the guilty party to step forward, and the entire brigade steps forward except for the major. He was the second in command. And they have a little bit of flashback here, just showing what had happened, and how this general was a real hard-nosed Nobody really liked him, but everyone liked the major. He was a little bit kinder and more considerate of the people and of the soldiers, and they felt that the general was going to get them all killed, and possibly whoever shot him thought that as well. So here they are talking. He's assuming pretty much that the major did the deed, and saw nothing to counteract that, and he has to make a command decision, and he will be executed in the morning. Here they bury the general, and during the night, several soldiers come up, and they want to confess that they did it, and several of them do that, which proves that they didn't do it really, because they're doing it because of the major. Here it is morning, and they're out there, and the soldiers hold guns on the soldier, the unknown soldier, telling them, "You don't release him, and we're gonna we won't let you execute him." And so he pulls his gun out and says, "Whoever first one tries to take a shot dies." Then one of the guys gets with the 50 cal mounted on the tank, and said, "Everybody get back." And said, "Do what the soldier orders, or I'll blast you all." He's following the commands. Then, before anything else can happen, incoming, kablooey, 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 and they're under attack from the German forces that they were expecting to engage a little later in the day. So they made an early morning surprise attack, and the major quickly takes command, giving orders, and they head out to fight, because they were interrupted by more pressing matters. It said, "A condemned man inspires loyal comrades to hurl themselves into combat's cauldron. Be with the unknown soldier in the shattering conclusion in part 2 next month." What's going to happen? I don't know. Then they had a story here of the losers, which was a continuation from the previous issue. Of course, in the losers, they're Captain Storm, Johnny Cloud, Gunner, and Sarge, and a few others. It's a little disjointed here. This was written by Robert Kanigher, with art by George Evans. Nicely drawn, very nicely drawn, but they try to stick so much into it, it's hard to tell. But hard to tell what's going on. But they're talking about these kind of like super rockets that are supposed to be launched here and going to take out Paris when Eisenhower is with Charles de Gaulle, going to be in Paris, and after they've liberated, after Paris was liberated, and they're sending the losers, an elite squad, in to go take care of it. And they're going under subterfuge of a simple boat, and here they find this bunch of kids. They're kids that they had saved and were already with them, and they said, "You guys are going to be going to school," because the kids wanted to fight. Well, here they are, just saving the kids because they were going to go do the same job. And while they come under attack from a Messerschmitt, and all the guns come out, and they're blasting away, take out that German plane, but it did enough damage. The boat is sinking, and all of the losers are wounded, and it's up to the kids to save everybody. There's Gunner tossing a grenade, because there's a German patrol boat, tosses a grenade and blows up the Germans. They get to get there, and one of the kids is from this area and knows where all this stuff is, helps them get around. They get a wagon, and hear this. Well, this carnival's new, isn't it? It looks decrepit. This carnival looks decrepit, but it's not. She says, "Well, this isn't supposed to be here." They're looking around because it's actually, of course, there to hide the launch site. Meanwhile, they're about to be. they're all about to be captured, and the kids go to town throwing hand grenades and guns and stuff, and they get away scot-free, and in the process blows up the launch site, so Paris is going to be saved. And then another story, the Bounty Hunters. A Very Private Hill, Part 1, Bounty Hunters. This is Enemy Ace, World War I. And this is Baron von Hammer. This is written by Robert Kanigher and drawn by the great John Severin. Some beautiful artwork here. I won't just go too much into the story. But you can see there's a reward for him, dead or alive. So a lot of Allied pilots are out to get him. So some great detail on the aircraft, the gear, the way von Hammer looks, and the aerial battle. Some really great work. And in the process, it shows his sense of honor when someone is helpless, trying to the pilot is killed and the gunner is trying to get into the cockpit. He doesn't take a cheap shot and shoot them down. And again, another courageous act by an enemy when his guns are empty. He starts fighting back with his .45. Well, he just lets him go, and he salutes him. And then later, even when he's on the ground, he comes under attack. And this is continued as well. So that's what we've got this time with the Unknown Soldier. Some really nice artwork and some interesting stories taking place in past wars with some nobility and with the warriors. So thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe. Share this with a friend who's maybe a vet, never read the comics, or someone who's just interested in the war comics. Just your friends. Whoops, almost dropped it. And please leave a comment. I really like reading the comments. And remember, comics are art.